And good morning. Welcome to Kelowna Now Live. It's Jason Mann on YouTube and X, and it's Friday. And look at this, a beautiful sunny start to our day as well. We'll get to the 5-day weather forecast for you in just a few moments. First off, here's our stories for the day. Researchers in BC have published a study that suggests prescription opioids prevent overdose deaths amongst people with an addiction to potentially toxic street drugs. They found that those who were prescribed at least one day's supply of opioids were 55% less likely to die from overdose in the following week when compared with a similar group without a prescription. Those who had a 4-day or longer prescription cut their risk of death by 89%. The study focuses on prescribing guidance that BC introduced in March 2020 for people who could fatally overdose during the pandemic as they sought a diminishing supply of illicit substances and risked COVID-19 transmission. BC is Canada's only jurisdiction to launch such a policy amid an ongoing public health emergency that has claimed more than 13,000 lives in the province since 2016 due to overdoses fueled by drugs contaminated with fentanyl. The lead author, Amanda Slaunwhite, senior scientist with the BC Centre for Disease Control, said people who were prescribed opioids as a part of the risk mitigation guidance program that had a 61% lower risk of dying from any cause a week later, and that rose to 91% with a 4-day prescription or a longer prescription over the same period. So what I'm reading into this myself is it's kind of a part of a well-known phenomenon called tolerance. So which is built through use. And I guess, the opposite to that is when somebody tries to get off the drug for good, but then relapse, it's an inflection point for death. So I think it's all a part of that same theory. She said researchers will now focus on looking at the unintended consequences of safer supply, including people giving away or selling their medications, and the possible impact of substance use amongst youth. An estimated 100,000 people in BC are believed to have an opioid use disorder, and an average of 7 people a day die from overdose. Quaker Canada recalls dozens of products due to potential salmonella contamination. Quaker Canada has recalled Captain Crunch treat bars, Harvest Crunch cereal, and various granola bars in this announcement. It comes after Quaker Oats in the U.S. made a similar recall, and Quaker Canada saying that this is being taken out of an abundance of caution. A BC man has been sentenced to 5 years in a senseless and unnecessary death of an off-duty Abbotsford police officer. Sad story here. BC prosecutors say Alex Wilness received 405 days credit for the time he spent in custody before being sentenced and was ordered to serve the remaining nearly 4 years in prison. 55-year-old Constable Alan Young died several days after a July 2020 altercation while he was visiting Nelson. Wilness, who is from Castlegar, was charged about 8 months later. So a 5-year sentence for that. Organizers of a performing arts festival in Vancouver have canceled a play that addresses ethical dilemmas in the Middle East, citing friction caused by the Israeli-Hamas war. A statement from Push Festival said it made the decision to cancel The Runner ahead of its staging this month after hearing from those who wanted it to go ahead and others who wanted it to be canceled. Last week, festival organizers said that they were taking a show-must-go-on attitude for The Runner, despite the Victoria Belfry Theatre canceling its planned run of the play over local tensions connected to the war. They say that they had heard the call to present it by those who feel the work provides an empathetic and fundamentally humanistic perspective, while they have also heard those who believe the theatre isn't the right place, or is the right place, rather, for difficult conversations and want to resist the censorship. And they've also heard that the call is not now or the right time. The one-person play, which is set to run January 24th to 26th, explores the reactions to an Israeli rescue volunteer's decision to save a Palestinian woman accused of violence against a soldier from Israel. The Victoria Belfry Theatre did drop The Runner from its spring lineup after receiving dueling petitions, both calling for its cancellation and continued performance. It's definitely hard to read and share these stories, the atrocities and impact of war, and they impact us closer to home than we realize sometimes, especially this one, it seems. And if we just work together, hopefully we can come together as one, solve these issues, resolve the pain that everybody is feeling, and create the conditions for healing and peace, because that is really, think we all can agree that's what everybody wants, right? A Kelowna developer is planning a pair of infill, just moving on to the Civic news here. A Kelowna developer is planning a pair of infill housing projects in core neighborhoods. The first is a 2-story building with 4 units at 1016 Martin Avenue. There would be all 3 bedroom units in there. And then the second application is for a 3-story, 7-unit building on Gore Street, which is in the South Pandosy area. And there would be 5 2-bedrooms and 2 3-bedroom units there. Both those applications were submitted to council on December 21st and have been circulated around the city's planning department. Next steps, we'll see a report brought forward to city council for consideration. And as you know, we've been covering a lot of new developments. And here's some news regarding just how many have been happening since 2022 in the BC, in the province. For the second year in a row, BC saw a record number of purpose-built rentals registered, up around 30% from 2022. According to December 2023 New Home Registry, about 19,000 rental homes were registered in BC in 2023. That's a total increase of 30% from the previous year. And the deadline is approaching for Kelowna's 49th annual Civic and Community Awards. There are only 4 weeks left in the nomination period, and each year the city opens up the nomination process, giving the community a chance to recognize outstanding Kelowna residents, volunteers, athletes, artists. This is the good news. People have made positive impact in our city in 2023. There are about a dozen categories to nominate for, and some of which have cash prizes. Like, for example, the finalists for the Young Citizen of the Year Award will receive funding contributions to their post-secondary education through the Dylan Thomas Budd and Peyton Lee Budd Youth Scholarship. This year's recipient will receive $2,000, and the remaining finalists will receive $1,000. And if you know somebody deserving of a special award and formal recognition, you can fill out a nomination form, learn more about the criteria, and read up on past recipients as a part of this story at KelownaNow.com. The nominations are open until February 9th, 2024. And from our 5 things you need to know file, number 2, huge lost settlement found in the Amazon. Academics have claimed that a huge ancient settlement has been found in the Amazon rainforest, and they say the remains, using ground scanning technology, suggest population in the tens of thousands. Definitely exciting times as technology is enabling us to learn more about our history. There's some other world stories there that you probably want to plug into at KelownaNow.com. And Kelowna weather for ATB Wealth. Realize your vision of wealth at atb.com/wealthkelowna. And we have extreme cold in our forecast. Wake up this morning, take the garbage cans out, and what do you know, the nose hairs freeze up. Hopefully your car started this morning as well, as the temperatures plummeted overnight. Today we're going to see a high of 18. That's minus 18. And lots of sunshine, and down to around minus 25. Let's take a look out that window. It is a beautiful morning. Now, any skin exposure will result in frostbite, and there's a warning as this extreme cold is blasting all of BC, really Western Canada. And forecasters warn that gusting winds can make temperatures feel more like minus 40 or even minus 55 in some parts, particularly higher up. Think Big White, think driving along the mountains. And that means frostbite can develop within minutes on exposed skin. So make sure you've got the proper stuff with you. And if you are outside and you're starting to feel shortness of breath, chest pain, muscle pain, weakness, numbness, or fingers and toes changing in color, that is time to get inside and get help. At Big White, if you're heading up there, rug up. And if they're on the highways, even having a basic emergency kit or a blanket and candles, some food, water, just a good reminder on all of that. There's a look at our Coquihalla Summit right there. Beautiful sunny drive, but as you can see, still lots of snow on the road. When it's minus 18, the roads are actually a little better than they are at 0 or minus 2, but still, obviously, ice and snow and dangerous winter conditions. Looking ahead through the weekend and the next 5 days, we have nothing but sunshine really today and tomorrow. But as you can see, very cold, down to minus 25, minus 23. Saturday, maybe a little bit of cloud building up, minus 17 for our high. Sunday, minus 16 and more sun. And then the clouds will build up on Monday as we get back to work, probably bringing some snow, but slightly warmer temperatures in around -12, which may feel like Hawaii after the week that we'll have had. But enjoy the sunshine. It looks like a beautiful day. And if you are inside and warm, it's always nice to see that sunshine. Otherwise, bundle up and have a great day. We'll talk to you this afternoon at 4 with the news headlines. And in the meantime, if you want to check out what the latest is that's happening, always head to kelownanow.com. And while you're there, register for our daily free newsletter. And while you're here, at whatever you're watching this on, YouTube, X, be sure to like and subscribe. Really helps us out. Get the news and you won't miss a word. So there you go. That's our broadcast. Have an awesome day.